Christopher Garner, and I'm going to present to you today about gun safety, gun maintenance, and I'm going to hopefully teach you about squib rounds and stovepipes and how to fix them. Why having a gun is a good thing. A little story, personal story for you. I was working out in Houston. I was doing audits on traffic intersections, and a guy came up to my window with a knife and said, "Get out of your car." He had a knife, I had a gun, I kept my car, and he left. So by having the gun, I was able to maintain possession of my property and my life. That's going to move us right into gun safety. Gun safety rule number 1. Always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. This means when I'm talking to you, I don't want to have the muzzle pointed at you in any way. I want to have it pointed in a safe direction. Hopefully there's nobody that way. If there is, the safest direction will more likely than be back in the holster. Always keep your finger off of the trigger until you're ready to fire. I personally feel that this should be the number 1 rule. This is absolute must in gun safety. You should, with you keeping your finger off of the trigger before you're ready to fire, it doesn't matter how many safeties your weapons has. This is it, right here. So, moving right along. Always keep your weapon unloaded until you're ready to fire. If you go to any range, a range master will always expect this of you. Keep your weapon unloaded until you step up to the firing line and you're ready to go. Always store your guns in a safe place. Either in a safe, a gun box, a lock box, trigger lock, bore lock. And that way people or children or grandchildren or people visiting, they won't come upon your weapon and maybe accidentally cause bodily harm. Now I'm going to move right along into gun maintenance. Now gun maintenance and gun safety coincide. They go hand in hand. Always make sure your weapon is unloaded. When your weapon is unloaded, you release the magazine, clear the chamber. Make sure there's no bullets in there before you're ready to break the gun down. Push this little knob in on the side. That's going to be your slide release. Pull that out. You can release the slide right off of the frame of the weapon. You'll see a little side view of it right there. Do that and you can slide the slide right off of the frame forward like this. It just comes right off. And you'll have the guide rod and the spring. You can pull that out. It just releases right there on a little catch. Comes right out, and then you pull the barrel out. And this is as far as you need to break your weapon down. Gunsmiths can break your weapon down even further, but unless you have the knowledge or you have worked for a gun manufacturer, I would not recommend breaking your gun down any further. This will suffice for any type of cleaning that you need to do for the type of use that you will use. Then you can start, you run a brush through the barrel, get that nice and clean. I use Break Free. I spray everything down, get it all nice and ready. Once I do that, wipe everything up real well, and then I start to assemble everything. And as I assemble everything, I use rim oil on all the moving parts. Then I put the slide back on the frame, and I'm ready to go. Now, how this happens to coincide with gun safety is if you're out on a range and you haven't cleaned your weapon and there's something in the barrel and you haven't checked, the barrel will become warped, your gun can explode and cause bodily harm to you. So that's why I feel it belongs with gun safety. What to do in the event of a squib round. A squib round is when the slug does not exit the barrel of your weapon. This comes from a soft load. People didn't, that's usually they reload the bullet, they take the shell casing They buy a new slug, they reload, they don't put enough powder in. So you usually hear a and no recoil. To fix this, you break your gun down fully. I use a piece of plastic and a rubber mallet and slowly beat it out, and then I clean it and make sure there's no damage to my barrel. And put it back, and you should have good working weapon. Stovepipes. What to do in the event of a stovepipe? They call them stovepipes because, as you can see, shell casing sticking straight up but still stuck between the slide and the release. And usually the spent shell casing is hot and smoking, so it sticks up and smokes, just like a stovepipe. This happens when an ejector pin fails to pull the shell casing completely out. Usually it pulls the shell casing out and flings it. It fails to do that. This is usually because of your weapon has become dirty, or your ejector is starting to malfunction. First step I would do to correct this is you release the magazine, which is what holds your bullets. Release the magazine, lock back the slide, and it'll take that stovepipe right out of there. And clean your weapon, and if it still doesn't after that, then you need to take your weapon to a gunsmith or send it to the manufacturer and let them replace the ejector because it's become faulty. And I'd like to end this with a quote. It is better to have a gun and not need one than to need a gun and not have one. As per my story I told you earlier. Thank you.